Hi, I'm Zach. This is Challenger Vedic Astrology and Tarot. Welcome to the channel. So, today we're going to be looking at the Sun transit into Aquarius and Mars continuing its transit in Capricorn for all signs. And if you like my videos, be sure to like and subscribe. Really helps out me and the channel. And if you'd like a Vedic Sidereal birth chart or a personal reading or consultation, the links to those will be in the description box and the comments below. Okay, so this is going to be for all signs. This is going to be your ascendant, moon, and sun sign. So make sure you check from all three because that will give you the full picture. And this is Vedic Sidereal Astrology, so make sure you're not using your Western tropical placements. They'll be completely off. If you don't know your Vedic Sidereal placements, you can get a birth chart at my website, which will be very detailed, or you can get go to a birth chart calculator online, which will be less detailed. But alright. So, Sun's going to move into Aquarius February 13th, and it'll be there until March 14th. Now, Mars is continuing its transit in Capricorn. It's been there since February 5th, and it'll be exiting Capricorn on March 15th. Now, something I'm going to mention because I haven't said it in a video before is some of you might be wondering why I never mention house ownership in these transit videos of Sun and Mars. Well, when I talk about Jupiter and Saturn, I mention the houses they rule. But with Sun and Mars, they move so fast that normally you aren't going to see their house rulership come into play. I mean, Sun moves signs every month. It's not always going to be tied to the house it rules. It very rarely is. And because these videos already run an hour long, it's usually not worth focusing on. But you always see their effect where they sit. So, Sun's your focus. The house it's transiting in, you'll see you're focused on that house. Or there's a lot going on there that you have to focus on it. And for Mars, Mars is your energy and your drive. Whatever house it sits in, that house will be energized. Or you'll be putting a lot of energy into that house. But very rarely does the house rulership come into play. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. In case some of y'all were wondering why I don't mention their house rulership. Okay. But we're going to be looking at all the zodiac signs, like I said. Check your ascendant, moon, and sun sign. Timestamps will be in the description box and the comments. So, let's get into it. Alright, so kicking us off with Aries, like we always do. Let's get into this. Alright, Aries. So for you, Sun has moved into Aquarius, your 11th house. Sun's your focus. So now you're focused on 11th house matters. 11th house is your elder sibling. It's your friends. Large network circles, large organizations, conferences, large gatherings. This can be like parties, concerts. It's also your hopes, wishes, desires, financial gain. And it's your paternal aunts and uncles. So these are where you're focused on right now. There could be, something significant going on with your elder sibling, a paternal aunt and uncle, your friends. You could be really focused on making money during this transit. There could be a lot of large gatherings or like parties that you're going to. So, pretty simple with Sun's transit. Now, let's talk about Mars. Mars is always the more complicated one. So, despite your focus being on the 11th house, the house that's being energized is your 10th house, with Mars still here in Capricorn. So, 10th house is your career, your workplace, your managers, your bosses, It's your status. It's government. So, despite you being focused on 11th house, and 11th house is also the gain of your status. So really, the Sun and Mars combination is showing a lot of focus on your workplace and making money. That's the biggest thing that we're seeing here. Now let's talk about, well, I was going to say the aspects of Mars. But first, Mars does cause conflict where it sits though. So definitely you can get into conflict with people in your workplace. Be careful how you speak, in your workplace with your managers and bosses. You don't want to be dealing with conflict. End up losing your job. Or, aggravating a client or something. Alright. But now let's talk about the aspects. So, Mars' fourth aspect is falling on your first house. Fourth aspect of Mars is all about conquest. So you want to conquer the first house. You want to conquer you. This is your health, your physical body. You want to be a better you. So you're going to want to focus more on your health. Maybe go to the gym. You're going to want to be more disciplined in your life so that you can accomplish your goals. Now, seventh aspect of Mars brings confrontation. And it's falling on your fourth house. Fourth house is your home, land, real estate. It's vehicles. It's your mother. So the people you can get in conflict with, definitely you can get in a conflict with your mother. You can get in a conflict with people you live with. You can get in a conflict with people over land, real estate. Get in a conflict with people, maybe somebody dings your car. Then all of a sudden you want to fly off the handle at them. So be careful there. Now, eighth aspect of Mars brings transformation, sudden ups and downs. That's falling on your fifth house. So fifth house is romance, children, funny games, education, speculative gain through, business, through stock market, gambling. So there can be sudden changes with your kids, if you have kids. There can be a sudden change with your education. There can be sudden changes in romance. Maybe you start a new romance. And, there can be sudden gains here. If you're in business or if you're in any kind of speculation. So that can be stock market, gambling. But also, the fifth house is 8th from the 10th house. So it's a sudden change and transformation of your career. So this can show change of job. So you could definitely, get a new job during this transit. Or, if you are getting into too much conflict at work, you could lose your job and have to get a new job. So try to err on the side of caution with that. Alright, moving on to Taurus. Alright, Taurus. So, Sun's showing your focus is now on the 10th house in Aquarius. 10th house is your career. It's your status. It's your workplace. Your managers, your bosses. It's government. So this is where your focus is now. You're very focused on career matters during this transit. On, being somebody in the world. And if you're not, in the workforce anymore, if you're retired or something like that, or, even if you are still working, 10th house is your karmic actions that the world notices. So, the world is, you're going to want to be out in the world more. You're going to want to be active, do things for other people. That's what 10th house is all about. You're going to be focused on that, so you might have to do that. But for most people, this is going to be about your career. You're going to be more focused on your career during this transit. But Mars is energizing your 9th house. So, despite you being focused on your career, you might be having to travel. Maybe you're traveling for your career or getting higher education for your career. Ninth house represents these things. There could be legal matters tied to your career. That could also be there. Ninth house is the law. But also, ninth and 10th houses, especially ninth house, is father. So there can be a lot going on with your father, with your mentors, your teachers, your gurus. There could be conflicts with them if you're not careful, because Mars can cause conflict. Same thing in your higher education. There could be conflict there. In legal matters, there could be conflict. Even religious and philosophical matters, because ninth house is religion and philosophy too. But ninth house is also luck. Your luck is being energized right now. So this can be very good. And it's also good if you're wanting to travel. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Mars though. So Mars' fourth aspect of conquest is falling on the 12th house. 12th house is spirituality. It's bed pleasure, sex and sleep. It's foreign travel, foreign lands, foreign people. It's investing, because it's losses. Investing is losing money to make money down the line. But yeah, it's losses of all kinds, including financial. It's isolation. Anywhere you feel isolated. Jails, hospitals, asylums, monasteries. So, you're going to want to conquer these areas of life. Maybe you're, wanting to have more of a sex life. Mars' fourth aspect will have you, wanting to be more active in that area. Wanting to make a conquest. 12th house is also spirituality. You could be putting more energy into your spiritual pursuits. Maybe physically active spiritual pursuits, because Mars is physically active. Definitely, this gives you a travel bug during this Mars transit, because it's in the 9th house, aspecting the 12th house. Both are houses of travel. It's also aspecting your 3rd house, which we'll get to in a second. So all 3 houses of travel are being hit right now by Mars. Now, also, you can be a little over-domineering with foreigners. Hopefully not, but definitely Mars can show that. But yeah, these are the things that we see with this aspect. Now, 7th aspect of Mars is going to be on your 3rd house. So, 7th aspect of Mars brings confrontation. 3rd house is your younger sibling. It's your cousins, your neighbors. It's the internet, so social media. So there can be conflict with all these people. Be aware of that. If you don't want conflict, don't start nothing. There won't be nothing. What the hell's wrong with me? Okay. Oh, damn it. Alright. 8th aspect is falling on your 4th house. 8th aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. So, 4th house is your mother. It's home, land, real estate, cars. It's your comfort, your happiness. So your mother can be dealing with sudden changes right now. There could be a change of home. Maybe you're renovating your home. Maybe you're moving. There can be something that comes up with your vehicle. Mars-Venus conjunction definitely can show vehicle issues. And with Mars having an 8th aspect on the house of vehicles, definitely there can be something up with your car. Maybe it needs maintenance or something. Or you could just be getting a new car. That could also be the case. Alright, that's what I have for you, Taurus. Gemini. Alright, Gemini. So, Sun, your focus, is now in Aquarius, your 9th house. So you're now focused on 9th house matters. 9th house is your father, your mentors, teachers, gurus. It's your higher education. It's philosophy, the law, religion. It's long distance travel. It's publishing. So, you're now focused on everything tied to the ninth house. There could be a lot going on with your father, or maybe your father just needs more attention than usual. You could be focused on your higher education. You could be focused, on your guru, your religious, philosophical matters. There could be legal matters going on right now. That could also be the case. You may be wanting to travel during this transit. Focused on that. Now, it may not actually happen until Mars is there energizing it. But you could be planning to travel during this transit. Now, let's talk about Mars. Mars is energizing your 8th house. Okay? So, 8th house is your in-laws. It's joint finances and relationships or in business. It's other people's money. It's the occult. It's research. It's sex. It's anything hidden. It's taxes. It's sudden ups and downs and transformation. It's surgeries. So, your sex life could be improving with Mars and Venus conjunct here in your 8th house. Joint finances could be growing because Mars is energizing this house. But there could be conflict with your in-laws. Mars can definitely show conflict. You could be, about to receive your tax return. It's about time for that. If you receive your taxes early. Because Mars will be here until mid-March. So, these are some things that we see. Your research. There will be more progress in your research if you're involved in research during this transit. There will be more, energy with your occult dealings. So, whether you're dealing in astrology, tarot, whatever occult stuff you're into, you'll be putting more energy into that during this transit. Now, your focus is there on the 9th house. 9th house is father. 8th house is surgeries. Your father could be going through a surgery during this transit. You could be concerned about an inheritance. 8th house is also inheritance. You could be dealing with your father's estate during this transit. There could be sudden changes with your father, with your education, because 8th house and 9th house are the houses being affected here. Now let's talk about the aspects of Mars. So Mars has a 4th aspect of conquest, falling on the 11th house. 11th house is your elder sibling. It's your paternal aunts and uncles. It's your friends, your network circles, large organizations, large gatherings, conferences. It's your hopes, wishes, desires. It's financial gain. It's the stock market. So you want to conquer these areas of life. If you're dealing with inheritance matters, you're probably wanting to overtake your elder sibling or, your paternal aunts and uncles. Sounds like a waste of time for me, but you do you. I'd rather have my own gains. But yeah, also there could be sudden financial gain that comes in with this transit. Because Mars is showing you want to conquer that during this transit. But be careful. You can be overly domineering with your friends, with your elder sibling, with your paternal aunts and uncles. But yeah, let's talk about the 7th aspect of Mars. 7th aspect is falling on your 2nd house. So, 7th aspect brings confrontation. 2nd house is family and finances. So, you could be in conflict with your family. You could be in conflict with people over money. That's what Mars is showing here. So be careful with that. Now, the 8th aspect of Mars is falling on your 3rd house. Third house, well, first off, eighth aspect of Mars brings sun ups and downs and transformation. Third house is younger sibling. It's your cousins, your neighbors. It's your skills, your effort, short distance travel, writing, communications of all kinds. It's the internet, social media. So what we see here is there could be sudden ups and downs with your younger sibling. You could be suddenly learning a new skill. Maybe there's a sudden breakthrough. Maybe you're a writer. Overcoming writer's block. Or getting writer's block. Hopefully not. There could be a lot of sudden short travels during this transit. There could be a transformation of your media business, of your marketing. Transformation of your efforts. Third house is a house of like physicality, sports, anything you put effort into. So there can be a transformation of that. But alright, that's what I have for you though, Gemini. Moving on to Cancer. First, let me have a drink. Okay, Cancer. So, Sun, your focus is now on the 8th house in Aquarius. 8th house is your in-laws. It's joint finances and relationships and business. It's other people's money. It's taxes. It's inheritance. It's death. It's the occult. It's research. It's sex. It's sudden ups and downs and transformation. So, you're focused on 8th house matters. So, if you're married, for sure, definitely there could be a focus on your in-laws, joint finances, other people's money. You could be focused on the end of something, on transformation. Focus more on your sex life. Really focused on your research. All these 8th house matters you're focused on. But Mars is energizing your 7th house. 7th house is other people out in the world. All the masses. 7th house is relationships, business partner. So with 7th and 8th house being focused on, definitely there could be a focus on relationships, on sex. Relationships being energized, house of sex being focused on. There could be a focus on joint finances and relationships. Maybe that's causing conflict, because Mars can cause conflict wherever it sits. Your business could be being energized. Maybe there's conflict with your business partner and you're focused on your business finances. Maybe you're focused on the end of a relationship or wanting to suddenly get into a new relationship. But Mars is energizing the 7th house. If you're not in a relationship, you get into one. Especially with it being conjunct Venus. Also, 7th house is 10th from the 10th house. So, it's the higher form of your status, the higher form of your career. So, this can be good for career matters, especially with what I'm about to say. So, let's talk about the aspects of Mars. 4th aspect of Mars brings conquest. It's falling on the 10th house. 10th house is status, your career, your workplace, your managers, your bosses. It's government. So, you want to conquer the 10th house. You want to conquer your status, have more status. You want to, conquer your career, conquer your managers and bosses. You want to be the one to rise up the ranks. To hell with them. You want that promotion. You might be tired of dealing with the government. especially with you focused on the 8th house, focused on taxes. Maybe you're tired of, what they're putting you through, all that paperwork, all that hassle. So that can also be there. But be careful, especially, dealing with the government, dealing with people in your workplace. You can be over domineering. That could cause issues. Now, 7th aspect of Mars brings confrontation. It's falling on your 1st house. So, people are going to be in conflict with you, bringing conflict to you. Sounds rough. But that's what you're dealing with right now, Cancer. Alright. Now, 8th aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. It's falling on your 2nd house. 2nd house is your family, your finances, earnings, savings. So there can be a major change with your family during this transit. There could be a major change with your finances. But alright, Cancer. That's what I have for you. Moving on to Leo. Leo, Sun's your focus. It's now in Aquarius, your 7th house. You are focused on relationships, on business partner, the masses, all the people out in the world. Maybe you're focused on meeting more people, focused on getting into a new relationship, or focused on your current relationship. Maybe you're really focused on your business partner. Also, 7th house is 10th from the 10th house. It's the higher form of your status and career. So, focused on achieving more status. But Mars is energizing your 6th house. So, 6th house is your everyday work, everyday routines. It's your coworkers. It's your enemies. It's debt. It's your pets. It's your health issues, accidents. It's competition. So this can also be sports. So Mars is energizing this house. So one thing you could see with you being focused on the 7th house of relationships and business partner, you could be dealing with conflict with them right now. Like that can definitely be there, especially with Mars-Venus conjunction being in your 6th house. Mars-Venus conjunction alone can bring conflict in relationships. But also, 12th house is the loss of your customer. Because 7th house is your customer, clients in your business. So, their house of losses is being energized. So this can be a really good transit for business. Unless you have a business partner, then it might be a bit rough. But you can definitely see there could be, conflict. You could be dealing with a legal dispute. 6th house is also legal disputes. There could be health issues. There could be an accident. So be careful. Especially Mars-Venus conjunction, there could be a car accident. Wear your seatbelt. Have good insurance. Don't be dumb. Listen to your astrologer. Also, 6th house being debt. Your debt could be energized during this transit. Meaning, you could take on more debt. So, be careful with that. Or try to avoid it. You could be dealing with your pets more. Wanting to spend more time with them. Mars being in the 6th house is very good for overcoming your enemies. It's good for competition. Overcoming competition. Winning. It's really energizing your work. But you can get into conflict with your coworkers. Now let's talk about the aspects of Mars. So Mars has a 4th aspect of conquest on the 9th house. 9th house is your father. Your father figures. Your mentors, teachers, gurus. It's religion, philosophy, the law. It's long distance travel. It's your higher education. So definitely if you're dealing with legal matters, you're wanting to conquer the law. Overcome that speeding ticket. Hopefully not. You're wanting to travel. Definitely you could want to travel with this, especially because Mars is also going to have an aspect on the 12th house, which we'll get into in a second. You're going to want to conquer your education, especially if you're doing like competitive exams. Mars is in the house of competition, aspecting the house of education. This is very good for, any form of educational competition. But you can be overly domineering with your father, with people, that you deal with in education, whether it's your, teachers or your fellow students. You can be overly dogmatic when it comes to religious matters. Now, 7th aspect of Mars brings confrontation. It's falling on the 12th house. 12th house is spirituality. It's jails, hospitals, asylums, monasteries. It's foreign people. So, these are the people you can get into conflicts with. You can get into conflict with foreign people, with spiritual people, people in jails, hospitals, asylums, monasteries, anywhere that people tend to be isolated. So be aware of that. Now, 8th aspect brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. It's falling in your 1st house. 1st house is your physical health, your physical body. So Mars is in the 6th house of accidents and health issues. Now it can bring sudden transformation to your body, sudden issues. So if you haven't been, taking care of your health, there can be sudden health issues that come up. If you're, in sports and competition, there could be, sudden accident, a broken bone, pulling a muscle, all kinds of things. So be careful. All right, moving on to Virgo. All right, Virgo. So, Sun, your focus is on the 6th house in Aquarius. So, you're now focused on 6th house matters. 6th house is your workplace. It's your work, your coworkers. It's your enemies. It's your pets. It's debt. It's your maternal aunts and uncles. It's competition. It can also be a house of sports. It's health accidents. Health issues, and accidents. So these are what you're focused on. So there could be, something going on with your maternal aunts and uncles. Maybe you're getting a new pet. Putting more attention on your pets if you, already have some. Focused on your debt, wanting to overcome your debt. Focused on your health. Now let's talk about Mars. Mars is energizing, fueling that drive for the 5th house. 5th house is romance, children, fun and games, education, speculative gain through business, stock market, gambling. It's creativity. So, Mars, Venus being conjunct in the 5th house of romance, definitely there could be new romance. I can definitely be there for you. Definitely is a good transit if you're focused on sports. Because 5th house is fun and games. It's also a house of sports. So this house is being energized. Sun, your focus is on the 6th house. 6th house is sports, competition. If you're in any kind of competitive education, 6th Fifth house is also education, so that's being energized. If you're in business, your business is, your gains are being energized. You're more creative with this transit. But there can definitely be conflict with children. Children could be dealing with health issues because you're focused on the sixth house of health issues while the fifth house is being energized. There could be conflict with, fellow students in education, especially if you're competing with them. But yeah, now let's talk about the aspects. So Mars has a fifth aspect of conquest, falling on your eighth house. Eighth house is your in-laws. It's joint finances and relationships and business. It's other people's money. It's taxes. It's inheritance. It's death. It's sex. It's the occult. It's research. It's surgeries. It's sudden ups and downs and transformation. So you want to conquer these areas of life. With Mars in your fifth house of romance, especially being there with Venus, wanting to get into a new romance, what do people usually want out of romance? Sex. So you want to conquer your sex life. You want to conquer, business earnings. Seventh house is earnings through business, or eighth house is earnings through business. You want to overcome your in-laws. You're tired of dealing with their shit. You want to, overcome your taxes. You want a big tax return. You want to be the one to receive that inheritance. You want to, research for your, research paper for your school. But Mars is showing you want to conquer these things. But you can be overly domineering. So, try not to be overly domineering with your in-laws. That'll just cause you more problems down the line. Alright. Seventh aspect of Mars brings confrontation, though. It's falling on your 11th house. 11th house is your paternal aunts and uncles. It's your elder sibling. It's your friends. It's large organizations, large network circles, large gatherings. So there can be conflicts with a lot of people right now. Be very careful of that. There can be conflict with your friends, with your elder sibling, your paternal aunts and uncles. So be careful there. Now, eighth aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. It's falling on your 12th house. So, 12th house is spirituality. It's bed pleasure, sex and sleep. It's anywhere you feel isolated. Jails, hospitals, asylums, monasteries. It's losses of all kinds, including financial. It's investing. Because you have to temporarily lose money to make money when you invest. 12th house is also foreign travels, foreign people, multinational companies. So there can be sudden ups and downs and transformation with this house. You could suddenly go to the hospital, especially if you have an accident or some health issue. There could be a sudden change of your spiritual views, of your spirituality. There could be a sudden change of your sex life because Mars is in the house of romance, aspecting both houses of sex. Congrats. 12th house, being a house of loss. There could be sudden losses, so be careful with that. There could be sudden travels. But yeah. So, that's what I have for you though, Virgo. Moving on to Libra. Alright, Libra. So, first I need a drink. Okay. Here we go. Talking so long. Rough on the throat. Okay. So, Sun's in your 5th house. 5th house is romance, fun and games, education, children. It's speculative gain through business, through stock market, through gambling. And Sun's your focus. So you're focused on these areas of life. Focused on your education, focused on beginning a romance, focused on your children, your students if you're a teacher. 5th house is also your subordinates at work. But Mars is where your energy and drive is, and that's on your 4th house. 4th house is your mother. It's home, land, real estate. It's the people that live in your home. It's cars. It's comfort, happiness. So definitely you could be, with Sun in the 5th house, focused on your kids, but putting a lot more energy into your home. There can be conflict at home because Mars can show conflict, especially, if you're living with a romantic partner. Mars-Venus conjunction. There can definitely be conflict there in relationships, especially when you're at home. Mars-Venus conjunction in the 4th house. 4th house is vehicles. Mars in the 4th house alone can cause car accidents. But being there with Venus, the significator of vehicles, definitely there can be car accidents. So be very careful of that. Wear your seatbelt. Have good insurance. Be careful. But yeah, there's more energy in the home. Maybe you're renovating your home. Maybe you're getting a new home, moving. Your car could need work done on it, or you could be getting a new car. Hopefully not because of an accident. But that's what we see for that. Now, 4th aspect of Mars brings conquest, and it's falling on your 7th house. 7th house is relationships. It's business partner. 7th house is the masses, all the people we deal with out in the world. It's 10th from the 10th house, so it's the higher form of your status, higher form of your career. So you want to conquer these areas of life. You can be overly domineering in relationships right now. Especially, if you're wanting to, start a new relationship. 4th aspect of conquest is falling on the 7th house. Mars and Venus are conjunct. And then you're focused on romance with Sun in the 5th house. So try not to be too overly domineering in relationships. But definitely that can be there. Really wanting to, conquer business matters. Conquer, your clients. All the people you deal with out in the world, wanting to achieve that status, being overly domineering with your partner in relationships or in business. So try to be careful with that. But 7th aspect of Mars is falling on your 10th house. 7th aspect brings confrontation. 10th house is your managers, your bosses, your workplace. It's government. Especially federal and national government. And see Mars in the 4th house. 4th house is local government. So if you're not careful, you could get into conflict with government officials during this transit. There could be conflict with coworkers, with your managers, your bosses, with people in your workplace. Now, 8th aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. It's falling on your 11th house. 11th house is your elder siblings. It's your friends. It's your paternal aunts and uncles. It's large organizations. Large gatherings. Hopes, wishes, desires, gains. Stock market. So there could be sudden changes with your elder sibling, with your paternal aunts and uncles, with your friends. Maybe you suddenly make a new friend. Or new friends. There could be a change in a large organization that you're a part of. There could be sudden financial gain from this transit. There could be a transformation of your hopes, wishes, desires. Maybe, you have something new that you want out of life. Alright, that's what I have for you though, Libra. Scorpio. Alright, Scorpio. Sun's your focus. It's now in your 4th house of Aquarius. 4th house is home, land, real estate. It's cars. It's your comfort, your happiness. It's your mother. It's the people that live in your home. So, you could be focused on your mother during this transit. Maybe your mother needs more attention, needs help. You're focused on your comfort and happiness, wanting to relax more, kick your feet up. Maybe you're focused on matters of the home. Maybe you're thinking about renovating. Maybe you're wanting to get a new home. Buy some land. Maybe you're focused on your car. Maybe you're thinking it needs repairs. Or you're wanting to get a new car. There could be a lot of dealings going on at home, or at least, you're focused on that. But Mars is energizing your 3rd house. So, Mars is your energy and drive. 3rd house is your younger siblings. It's your cousins, your neighbors. It's the internet, social media. It's communication of all kinds, including writing. It's short distance travel. It's your skills, your efforts. So, with Mars being here, there can definitely be a lot more travel. It's sitting in the 3rd house of short distance travel, aspecting the 9th house of long distance travel. There could be more interaction with you and your younger sibling, with your neighbors, your cousins, on social media, online. There could be more communication in, relationships, because Mars and Venus are conjunct in your 3rd house of communication. Mars and Venus is romance and passion. So there can be a lot more interaction between, you and your partner in a relationship, or talking to people online, on dating apps and stuff. Your writing could be more energized during this time. Maybe you're writing more than usual. You're putting a lot more energy into things, because the house of effort is being energized. You're putting forth a lot more effort. 3rd house is a house of, physical dealings too, like sports. So putting more energy and drive into sports. Maybe you're traveling, thinking of traveling to a new home. 3rd house of travel's energized. 4th house, you're focused on with the sun being there. The house of home. Maybe your younger sibling is going to be living with you. That could also be there. But Mars being in the 3rd house, you can get into conflict with people online, with your younger sibling, with your cousins, your neighbors. So you can definitely see that. Also, you could be learning new skills during this transit. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Mars. So Mars has a 4th aspect of conquest on the 6th house. 6th house is your maternal aunts and uncles. It's your debt. It's your pets. It's your enemies. It's your coworkers. It's your everyday work, everyday routines. It's health issues, accidents. It's conflict. It's your enemies. It's legal matters. Legal disputes, I should say. So, you want to conquer these areas of life. You want to conquer your health issues. 6th house is also a house of competition. 3rd and 6th house are tied to sports. So you could want to, overtake people in sports. You could want to overcome your debts during this transit. You could want to get a new pet. You can be overly domineering with your pets if you already have pets, with your maternal aunts and uncles. Overly domineering with your coworkers. Now, 7th aspect of Mars brings confrontation, and it's falling on your 9th house. So, 9th house is your father, your mentors, teachers, gurus. It's religion, philosophy, law. So definitely there can be legal disputes with Mars having an aspect on the 6th house and the 9th house. Both are the houses of law. There could be conflict with your father figures. There can be conflict with your teachers. 9th house is also a house of education. You can get into conflict with other people in your educational field. Now, 8th aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. It's falling on your 10th house. 10th house is your career, your status, your workplace, your managers, your bosses, government. 10th house is my mind is blanking. One second. I lost it. Oh well. But yeah, so there can be sudden changes in these areas of life. There can be sudden changes with your career, with your status. There could be a sudden change in your government even. There could be a sudden change with your managers and bosses. Maybe, a manager quits or gets transferred and you get a new one. Oh, I remembered what that was now. 10th house is also your karmic actions that the world notices. So even if you're retired, there could be a sudden change in your dealings out in the world. Maybe you want to do more out in the world. So there can definitely be a change with that. Change in your status can really be seen here. But alright, moving on to Sagittarius. Alright, Sagittarius. So, Sun's your focus. It's now in the 3rd house. So, 3rd house is your younger sibling. It's your cousins, your neighbors. It's short distance travel. Communication of all kinds, including writing. It's social media, internet. It's your skills, your effort. It's a house of sports. So this is where your focus is. Pretty simple. Now, Mars is in your 2nd house. Mars is your energy and drive. 2nd house is your family. It's your earnings, your savings. So, definitely you could be making more money during this transit. Mars is energizing that. Energizing your earnings. But when Mars is in the 2nd house, you also want to spend more money, especially on necessities. Now, Mars can also cause conflicts. Definitely there could be conflicts with your family during this transit. With Mars energizing your 2nd house of family and your Sun focused on your 3rd house, definitely there can be a lot going on with your younger siblings, and with your cousins in particular. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Mars. So Mars is a fourth aspect of conquest on the fifth house. Fifth house is romance, children, fun and games, education, students. It's your subordinates at work. It's speculation. Speculative gains through business, through gambling, through stock market. It's creativity. So, you can want to conquer all these areas of life. Want to overcome people in education. Want to start a new romance. You can be overly domineering with your children, with your subordinates at work, with your students. But this can be very good for financial gain. This can be very good for educational pursuits. Now, seventh aspect of Mars brings confrontation. It's falling on your eighth house. Eighth house is your in-laws. It's gosh, I lost it. It's okay. In-laws is the important one. So, not only are you in conflict with your family, there could also be conflict with your in-laws, or, if you're not married, it could just be, your partner's family. So be careful with that. Nobody wants that. Now, eighth aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. It's falling on your ninth house. So, ninth house is your father, teachers, mentors, gurus, father figures. It's higher education, especially beyond like a bachelor's degree. It's religion, philosophy, the law. It's publishing. It's long distance travel. So there can be a sudden change with your father or father figures. Sudden change with your guru. There can be a sudden change in your religious, philosophical beliefs. There could be sudden travels. Sudden change in your education. There could be a sudden legal matter that comes up. So, be aware of all that, Sagittarius. Alright, moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn, Sun's moved into Aquarius, your second house. So you're now focused on the second house. Second house is your family, your earnings, your savings. It's your speech. So, you're focused on these areas of life. Very simply, you're focused on making money. You're focused on your family. You could be focused even on the way you speak, wanting to present yourself in a, more articulate way. Now, Mars is energizing your first house, though. Mars is your energy and drive. In the first house, you're energized. You're like super Capricorn during this transit. Especially with Mars being exalted in transit. This is very good. So, definitely, your body is energized. You have more energy to do what you want to do in life. To accomplish your goals. To set your life in the direction you want it to be in. But, Mars is a malefic planet. So definitely there can be health issues that come up. There could be, some kind of accident. Cuts, burns. So just be careful. I mean, Mars in your first house gives you the energy to overcome these things, though. So that's good. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Mars. So, fourth aspect of Mars is all about conquest. It's falling on your fourth house. Fourth house is your mother, home, land, real estate, people that live in your home. It's your car. It's your comfort, your happiness. So, you want to conquer the home. If you don't, maybe, you're wanting to renovate your home. Maybe you're wanting to get a new home. Maybe you're wanting to repair your car or get a new car. You want comfort and happiness, and you're going to achieve it. With Mars being in the first house, you're going to put your all into achieving that. But you can definitely be overly domineering with your mother and with people in your home. Now, let's talk about the seventh aspect of Mars. Seventh aspect of Mars is the confrontational aspect. It's falling in your seventh house. Seventh house is relationships. It's your business partner. It's all the masses out in the world. It's customers in business. So, with Mars having a seventh aspect here, you can get into conflict with all these people. You can get into conflict with a lot of people, especially in relationships, because Mars and Venus are conjunct in your first house. But there can be conflict with your business partner. There can be conflict with your customers if you're in business. And definitely there can be conflict in relationships. Now, let's talk about the eighth aspect of Mars. That brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. It's falling on the eighth house. Eighth house is your in-laws. It's joint finances and relationships and in business. It's other people's money. It's taxes. It's inheritance. It's death. It's the occult. It's research. It's sex. It's anything hidden. It's sudden ups and downs and transformation. And it's also surgeries. So, there could be a sudden surgery that, you need. That could come up. There could be a sudden change with your in-laws. With your joint finances. Maybe you're making more money. In business or in relationships. There can be, sudden change with your taxes. Maybe you're suddenly going to receive more from your taxes than you thought you would. Or maybe you suddenly owe taxes. Hopefully not. There could be a transformation of your sex life. There can be a transformation of your research. For your education or for your work. There could be a sudden change in your occult beliefs or views or abilities. But yeah, that's what I have for you though, Capricorn. Alright, Aquarius. I need a drink. 1 second. My throat's raw. Okay, Aquarius. Sorry about the wait. Alright. So, Sun's your focus. It's now moved into the first house. First house is you, your physical body, your health, your overall path in life. So, you are now focused on you. You're going to be a little self-centered during this transit. Maybe you need to be. Maybe, you're dealing with health issues. Especially with Mars energizing your 12th house. 12th house is hospitals. Hopefully, you're not having health issues where you're in the hospital or, having to visit doctors and that kind of thing. Hopefully not. But definitely you're going to be more focused on you and your health. That's the big thing we see with this. Now, Mars is in your 12th house. So your energy and drive is in the 12th house. 12th house is anywhere you feel isolated. Jails, hospitals, asylums, monasteries. 12th house is foreign travel, foreign people. Multinational companies. It's spirituality, if I didn't mention that. It's bed pleasure, sex and sleep. It's losses of all kinds, including financial. It's investments, because when you invest money, you're losing money to gain money down the line. So all of this is energized right now. So definitely with that focus on your health, you could need to go to a hospital or see a doctor. That could be there. Mars is energizing your losses. So if you're not careful, there can be financial losses during this transit. Maybe you're investing money during this transit. That could be foreign travel right now, especially with Mars also aspecting your third house, which we'll get into in a second. But, well, Mars is energizing your sex life too, especially being conjunct with Venus here. You know, if that's what you're looking for. Most people are. So that can definitely be good. But yeah, so this is what we see with Mars being in the 12th house. Now let's look at its aspects. So, fourth aspect of conquest is falling on the third house. So you want to conquer the third house. Third house is younger siblings. It's your cousins, your neighbors. It's short distance travel. It's internet, social media. It's communication of all kinds, including writing. It's your skills, your efforts, sports. It's marketing. Sales. So, what we see with this, you want to conquer these areas of life. Definitely you could have a travel bug during this transit, with Mars in the 12th house aspecting the third house. You could be overly domineering with your cousins, with your younger siblings, with your neighbors, with people online, turning into a keyboard warrior. Please no. You could be writing more. 12th house is a house of imagination. Your imagination could be energized during this transit. Maybe that's helping your writing. You know, wanting to conquer, skills. You know, with Mars being in the 12th house, you traveling to foreign places, maybe you're wanting to learn a foreign language. That's a new skill. You're wanting to conquer your efforts. Maybe because you're trying to overcome health issues. Now, 7th aspect brings confrontation. It's falling on your 6th house. So, 6th house is the house of maternal aunts and uncles. It's your pets, your coworkers, your enemies. So you can get into conflicts with all these people. Yeah, hopefully you're not being an asshole to your pets. Maybe the rest of them deserve it. Your pets don't. Be nice to them. But 6th house is also enemies. Definitely you can get in conflicts with them. 12th house is a house of hidden enemies. So definitely you could be, dealing with a lot of enemies right now. That's one thing that we can see with Mars in the 12th house. Now, 8th aspect brings sun ups and downs into transformation. That's falling on your 7th house. 7th house is relationships. It's business partner. It's the higher form of your status and career, because 10th from the 10th house. It's the masses, all the people you deal with out in the world. So, there could be a sudden change in your relationship. Maybe you're suddenly in a relationship. Maybe that's why you're having a better sex life with Mars in the 12th house. There could be a sudden change with your business partner. And maybe, that's causing losses for you right now. There could be a transformation of your business. There could be a sudden influx of clients. 7th house is business, clients, and customers. So sudden change with your status, your fame, your career. That could be there too. But all right, moving on to Pisces. All right, Pisces. The last of the zodiac signs. All right. So, sun's your focus. It's moved into your 12th house of Aquarius. So, 12th house is foreign travel, foreign people. It's multinational companies. It's spirituality, bed pleasure, sex and sleep. It's anywhere you feel isolated. Jails, hospitals, asylums, monasteries. 12th house is investments. Because it's losses of all kinds, including money. And you have to temporarily lose money to make money when you're investing. It's also a house of the imagination. So, this is where you're focused. You could be focused on your spiritual pursuits, focused on foreign travel, focused on losses. You could be focused on hospitals, jails. Hopefully not, but with Mars energizing your 11th house. See, 11th house is your elder sibling. It's your friends. It's your paternal aunts and uncles. It's your large organizations, large network circles, large gatherings, hopes, wishes, desires, gains, stock market. So with this transit, Sun focused on the 12th house. 12th house is investments. Mars energizing a house of stock market. You could be investing in the stock market during this transit. That could be there. But 12th house that you're focused on is also, jails, hospitals. You could have an elder sibling, a paternal aunt and uncle, a friend in a jail or a hospital during this transit. Hopefully not, but that could be there. You could be focused on your losses because you're wanting to gain more money. Mars is energizing your gains, but you're focused on your losses. So while you're gaining money, you don't want to be losing money. Focused on how to invest your money. Maybe you're making foreign friends. With the focus being on the 12th house of foreign people, Mars energizing your house of friends. Maybe, you're dealing with a foreign company. That's a large organization, a multinational company. Maybe that's energizing your gains, making you more money. Also, 11th house is second from the 10th house. So it's the gain of your status. So you could be, achieving more status. Maybe while you're working in a foreign land with your focus on the 12th house, especially with Saturn transiting there. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Mars. So, fourth aspect of Mars is all about conquest. And that's falling on your second house. Second house is your family, your earnings, your savings. It's what you value. So, you could be overly domineering with the family during this transit. Definitely that could be there. But this is very good for financial gain. With Mars in the 11th house of gains and aspecting the second house of earnings and savings, this is very good for money. So you could definitely be making a lot of money during this transit. Now, seventh aspect is confrontation, and it's falling on your 5th house. 5th house is children. It's your students, your subordinates at work. So there could be conflict with these people. 5th house is also education. There could be conflict with, people in your educational field. Could be, your teachers, could be fellow students. So be careful with that. Now, 8th aspect brings sun ups and downs and transformation. And that's falling on your 6th house. 6th house is your maternal aunts and uncles. It's your enemies, your coworkers, your pets. It's your debt. It's legal disputes, conflict. It's competition. So this can also be a house of sports. It's health issues, accidents. So there can be a sudden change in your health with this aspect. And with sun being focused on the 12th house of hospitals. There could be some health issue that comes up. There could be a sudden change with your maternal aunts and uncles, with your pets. Hopefully nobody has to go to a hospital, but there's a chance. There could be a sudden change with your enemies, especially with sun being in the 12th house. 12th house is your hidden enemies. 6th house is your overt enemies, the ones you notice. So you could be suddenly overcoming your enemies, or maybe they're suddenly overcoming you. There could be sudden accidents. There could be a sudden change of your work, sudden change of your everyday routine. There could be sudden changes with your coworkers. There could be a transformation of your health for the better. That could be there. You could suddenly get a new pet. With all the money that you're making, with Mars in the 11th, aspecting the 2nd house, and aspecting the 6th house, you could be overcoming your debt. Being able to pay it down. But alright. That's what I have for you though, Pisces. Okay. But yeah, so that's what I have for all of you. And yeah, with Sun in Aquarius and Mars in Capricorn. So yeah. If you like my videos, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out me in the channel. If you'd like a Vedic Sidereal birth chart or a personal reading or consultation, the links to those will be in the description box and the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.